We're at 55%. It's 4:54, 67 degrees. We are in Austin and about to head up to Marion, Iowa. Looks like Jarrell, Texas is our next stop. Happy Friday afternoon.
Happy Friday.
The work week is over. We're just road tripping home. It's 5:35 p.m. We're down to 31%, and we are crawling through Austin traffic. Hopefully we'll get on the move soon, but Jim just found a new route that should save us hopefully 2 hours by optimizing Supercharger stops.
Yeah, we'll see if it holds, because Tesla tends to yield on the side of fewer stops and longer, deeper charges. And that just, you get above 60, 70%, your charge rate drops like a rock, which means you're just sitting there longer to get the same amount of power into your battery. So there were a couple chargers that showed up on that first go, which were like 55-minute charges. That should be a red flag, and it is a red flag to me. So trying to find different routes or different charge stops to maximize that, and sometimes stopping more frequently will get you to your destination faster, which is counterintuitive when you first think about it, but in an EV, it absolutely is true. So when we first plugged it in, we were looking at getting to our destination, assuming we drive straight through sometime around 2 in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon, into my hometown in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. But right now it's telling us if we drive straight through right now, we'll get there at 12:20, and right now I'll take it. So
2 hours off the road is good for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether we make it that long, or we start hallucinating along the way and seeing phantom Cybertrucks or whatever, but time will tell.
We had an interesting day today out in the field, shooting a piece for a review Zach and Jesse are doing. Got to try out some light horse.
What would you call them? They're like, think of a combination between a quad runner and a Segway.
Yeah. But
for off-road use. It's a stand-up quad runner, which is kind of weird, all electric, faster than it should be. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's definitely not a product for me, so
it's not a product for my wallet either. So.
Yeah, but it was cool. It was a fun afternoon of tearing around the field, and hopefully we got some fun shots. But got us a little on the road a little later than we had thought. So yeah, saving that 2 hours through optimizing supercharging is a big plus.
Yeah,
we do have a beautiful sunset here, so that's kind of nice.
My only regret is we didn't get any decent barbecue on this trip. So it's just been such a whirlwind in and out, from just hyper driving down here to just, if we weren't driving, we were sleeping, or we were at an event and then we were doing some more sleeping, and then all the stuff today with the Now You Know guys, and now we're headed out of town. So, Austin, it was great knowing you, yeah. But we really didn't get to spend much time here. Definitely need to come back. Here, it's a good scene, and there's a lot of things to do, and unfortunately just couldn't do any of them.
Yeah, I had really wanted to make it to a Waffle House, because that's my thing. I mean, we might be south far enough.
I'm going to start looking right now, because I could, in a couple hours, I could go for some good Waffle House. Just major slowdown of Friday evening traffic. For as much as it sucks, this is where FSD actually does really well. Kind of does its own thing. You're just sitting here, but you're not getting anywhere fast.
Yeah. Sure beats full self Brian.
That is probably a whole nother video.
Yeah.
But yes, full self Brian needs a little work. Not quite ready for it. Yeah, it's employee only release right now. So
we'll see you down the road. Welcome to Jarrell, Texas at 17%, 6:15 p.m., 6160 Fahrenheit. And it's saying we need to be here for 25 minutes. Let's plug in. Another V3 stall. That's nice. Hitting a lot of V3s on this trip. So we're at a pretty big travel center. You could definitely not walk across the highway to get to the stuff over there. But nice little stop, and yeah, glad to be on our way. All right, we are done. Finished charging up here. Got a good spot to place your cell phone down there. I think Jim's going to take this leg, and we're up to 83%. So that's good there. It's good unplugged to get on our way. Welcome to Red Oak, Texas. We're here at 19% at 8:36 p.m., 52 degrees Fahrenheit. And we are at a Shell Red Oak Pilot Travel Plaza. That last stretch was 136 miles. Took an hour and 50 minutes, 301 watt-hours per mile. So that's, I think, maybe the best of our trip so far. Overall, on our cyber trip, 1,563 miles, average energy of 360 watt-hours per mile. So Jim's got us plugged in. We're already up at 235, and already working our way down at 22% now. 20 minutes to continue the trip, enough time for a restroom break. We're going to switch drivers and keep plugging on. So Red Oak, I forgot, but we were here last night. This is where we had dinner. Or not last night, on the way down. We had dinner at the Wendy's there. We are done charging. We're at 71%, 8:54 p.m., 52 degrees. Next stop, Denison, Texas. We'll get there with 27%, which is ample. Denison, Texas with 21%, 10:16 p.m. We're down to 42 degrees. I was hoping we'd keep warmer weather a little further north than Texas, but last drive was 96 miles, average of 333 watt-hours per mile, and we're over 1,659 miles so far the overall trip. Let's plug in and not waste any more time. All right, I think this one is a long stop too. Jim's recorded his piece. It says 50 minutes. We'll see if we need all that. All right, so far the trip's going pretty well. I feel like I'm relatively wide awake, but if this is a true 50-minute stop, then maybe the play is to lay back and take a nap, even though it is very well lit here. This might be an opportunity to just have some quiet, calm time, get some shut-eye, and see if we can power through the night. All right, we're still here in Denison, Texas. We both tried to get a nap. I may have got a few minutes, so that was good. It was nice to just kind of lay back and try to get a little bit of rest. Close your eyes and not be staring at the road, so that's good. This is the long stretch where we drive through a bunch of small towns. Hopefully at this time of night, that means that all those small towns will pretty much be shut down and no traffic. So we should make it through, hopefully, faster than we did coming down here. So we'll see. Jim's up for driving and might stay awake a little bit longer and then If I'm feeling tired, get a little more rest before I take my next shift. But right now, I'm feeling pretty good. All right, it said we just hit 100%, then started putting a little bit back in. But I think we're ready to go. It's 11:21. We're at 100% and have a good long stretch to get to Tulsa. But let's unplug and hit it. Okay, so we just had a very unusual Tesla situation. Charging to 100% at the last stop was unusual, but in 2023, most areas have enough bailout options. But as we were coming to the last town, it had us turning around and headed back to Denison so we could charge up enough to get to Tulsa. Well, we already did that once, so that was interesting and unfortunate, but Jim just redid the navigation back to Tulsa and saying, stay under 75.
Yeah, 70, yeah.
And saying we'll get there at 5%, so...
we'll make it. We'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll make it. We can always slow down, but...
That was weird.
Yeah. Definitely weird because we weren't really paying attention, just following the route. Then it's like, wait a minute, that's a loop. That's not right.
Yeah, it really never said anything about not being able to make it to the destination. It just did it.
Yeah, so.
Maybe we just weren't paying attention.
Yeah. Anyway, we're still going to Tulsa, and we'll make it one way or another. Just to be safe, I did a check on PlugShare and saw we had a CCS bailout option in Henrietta, Oklahoma. We considered making the stop, but that would add time to our trip, and although the check-ins on PlugShare were alright, I'd heard some Francis Energy horror stories over the last couple years, so we were weighing the benefits of a short top-up charge if everything went well, versus a time and energy sapping stop if we were fumbling with the app, payment, or offline chargers. We decided to keep our eye on our consumption, but stick with going straight to Tulsa. We'd made it easily on the way down, so had confidence it would work out, and we'd get to fast, reliable chargers. I slept while Jim dodged small-town axe murderers and crazy opossums. Eventually, we reached Tulsa. We are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at 6%, 2:34 this morning. Jim got us here safely. That was a long stretch. That was
185 miles.
3 hours and 12 minutes. So, good stretch. Unfortunately, looks like everything around here is closed. So, tough for a restroom situation, but we need to be here estimated 25 minutes. So, let's plug in and get moving. That last stretch was 3 hours and 12 minutes, 185 miles, 325 watt-hours per mile, lots of variable speeds, construction, all sorts of stuff, but at this time of night it was all pretty smooth sailing through it. So far on the trip, 1,844 miles. Plugging away. I got a little rest on that stretch, so ready to take over and hit the next run. Jim's getting the artistic shot through all the Supercharger line. Follow him on X to see that. I'm sure he'll post it there. So not too far of a walk from the Supercharger is a Whataburger that is still open and functioning at 2:30 in the morning. So not too bad of a walk. And we're on our way back just about the time it will be finished. All right, 3:02 a.m. We're up to 76%. Did you unplug us?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, let's go there.
All right. Let's hit it.
Joplin, Missouri with 7%. We just crossed the border. 4:37 a.m., 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 115 miles, 1 hour 34 minutes, 388 watt hours per mile. Most of that was 80 miles an hour. And we're almost to 2,000 miles on the overall trip. 53% at 4:52 a.m. 40 brisk degrees. We're on our way to Nevada, Missouri. Let's go. Right, 5:52, that last stretch went fast because I slept. 13%, still 37 degrees, so holding steady for the last few stops, around 40. That drive was 69 miles at 374, took about an hour. So far, we have gone 2,028 miles on this trip. We are ramping up here in Nevada. It's say 11 minutes, so time to use the restroom and get moving. That is appropriate music for the amount of coffee I'm about to drink. 1 minute remaining to continue the trip. We should get to Belton, Missouri with 11% now, so really we could leave right now, but I'm going to give it that extra full minute. Quick stop at Casey's. Got some donuts. Don't tell Jim's wife. And some coffee. He's going to get some sleep. And we're going to roll. Let's go. Let's drive. This is the stop where we parked on the wrong side on our way down, following the person who was here. Handle's a little slimy from the fog. I hope that's from the fog anyway. Starting to get cooler. We're at a Hy-Vee. I would think they'd be open by now. I think it's just after 7. Let's get in and take a look. FSD did most of the driving, but then a couple times in the fog it freaked out. So, since our last charge, it's 7:12 a.m., 7:13 a.m. We got here around 12%, maybe 11. But 74 miles, so not too long, 1 hour, 4 minutes. 404 watt hours per mile because we were cooking, and it's 30 degrees. 2,102 on the Cybertruck. Saying 25 minutes, so we're going to stretch, use the restroom, and be back. Jim is unplugging. We're up to 77%. 78. Still pulling 53 kilowatts. 7:39 a.m. 31 degrees. Very foggy out. The camera sees through it better than my eyes. So we'll see. Jim might have to do some manual driving here on this leg, but we're about ready to roll. Should get to Bethany, Missouri at 9:12 a.m. In Bethany, Missouri with 18% at 9:14, 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Current drive was 110 miles, hour and 34 minutes, 352 watt hours per mile, and so far on the trip we're 2,212 miles. Let's get plugged in. We're obviously charging on a V2 here, which is one of the only V2s we'll be using on the trip. And it's just fun to see these old units. They seem so state-of-the-art a couple years ago, and now we've got new cabinets, new hardware. You know, who knows how much of the guts have changed, but it's just kind of cool to see these older cabinets still plugging away, still getting people where they need to go. All right, in Bethany, we're just charged up 69%. Nice. 9:35, 36 Fahrenheit out. You ready to go home?
I'm ready to be home. It's really weird because it's like we got to Austin and we did our thing on Friday and it's like, hey, let's go get barbecue. We're like, nah, let's go home. So we just let everybody go. It's like, all right, we're heading home. And we just left. And it doesn't seem like that we're on that same trip because we never got out of the car. We've been driving nonstop. This has been quite the adventure and would not have been possible nonstop if it wasn't for the tag team with you, with me. I can't do that. But
definitely.
Which will get us home sooner, but it's still a really long way to go.
Yeah, let's get moving. Thank you again, friendly V2. Made it to Des Moines at 10%, 11:05 a.m., 37 Fahrenheit, 108 miles on that last stretch, hour and 28 minutes, 362 watt-hours per mile, and 2,319 for the whole trip. Let's stop talking and plug in. We're making good time today and want to keep that up. We're going to do a little recap live stream. Well, the next couple stints are going to be Jim's last here, so we'll live stream all we can, give our final thoughts on the Cybertruck event, how things are going. You can see not much wind today, so that's kind of nice. It's probably helping us a little bit. All right, we're coming back. Let's see what it says. It says 5 minutes. That's enough to... 4 minutes now. It's enough to kind of switch places and get up set up for live stream we're going to do at noon. We've got enough to continue our trip, so we are out of here. We're making a lot of short stops, but it's making our overall time go down. Jim has really optimized the route. %, of Grinnell, but we may have a closed charger later, so we'll have to make a plan for that. Live stream's about to start. Jim's plugging us in. The last trip was pretty short, 48 miles. But 2,368 miles on our overall trip. But 45 seconds to go live, so getting ready for that. We are at the Grinnell, Iowa Supercharger. One more stop before your place?
Yes, we're going to stop actually at the Cedar Rapids Supercharger. Just makes sense logistically based on where I live. Otherwise, you'd have to come back.
But I might be coming back anyway.
It's turned back on.
Okay. We just had a notice that a charger on your route has been turned offline, and it was the Waterloo, Iowa Supercharger, and it's back now. So whatever that was, just a glitch, but nice to have that back. Hopefully it stays on.
And I was fortunate enough to secure a ticket using the referral program, and Brian was my +1, so we thought this was going to be a massively huge event, but turns out it was actually relatively small. I think only 500 tickets were given out, so it was a pretty small group of people. are at the Cedar Rapids Supercharger, my hometown. Just makes sense to charge here first before Brian drops me off at my place. 39 degrees, 76 miles, 366 watt hours per mile. For me, it is about 2,244 miles, but for Brian, it's 2,444 miles so far, 360 watt hours per mile.
Someone even left us a shopping cart.
It's not very Iowa nice.
All right, we are leaving the Cedar Rapids Supercharger, 62%, 1:37 p.m. at 39 Fahrenheit. So we have been between 30 and 40 degrees all the way up since about Waco, which is crazy. But it doesn't seem so bad up here.
Oh, it's warmer than when we left.
All right, we have made it to Jim's home, and we survived the night. Thank you very much.
We survived. Thanks to the technology, the car, and some tag team sleeping and driving. So absolutely. Great trip.
Yeah, fantastic. Just one more little length to go, and then we'll all be home.
Yeah, you got a little bit more than I do, so safe travels, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for the +1. It was a fantastic tour and event and drive.
Well spent.
All right, thanks.
Take care, everyone.
All right, back down to one driver. Excellent to have Jim on this trip. There's no way I could have made this trip that fast, down and back, without having him as a driver and a good driver, so I didn't have to fear for my life when I took a nap while he was driving. So that was fantastic. Enjoyed his company. We did a couple live streams. That was fun. And just had a chance to kind of talk about, the week and our experience. So it was just, very enjoyable. We've got about, I think, 5 hours left, including charging. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to try. Our next stop is Waterloo, Iowa. And to be the most efficient, this needs to be a fairly long stop. I think 35 or 40 minutes maybe. So I am going to try to get some sleep. I don't know if it'll be quite dark by then, but it's overcast. Should be easy to get some rest and then complete the rest of the trip in the dark. Having autopilot as another set of eyes assist with that. But hoping to get home around 7 p.m. tonight, which is just excellent. That'll be a little over 25 hours, I think, since we left the Austin area. And it'll be great to get home and get a full night's sleep in my own bed. So very excited about that. And by the time I get home, a shower as well. So off to Waterloo, it's saying we'll get there at 3:08 p.m. It's about 38 miles away, so looking forward to that. I have so many thoughts on the Cybertruck event, the after party event, and the other things we did down there that I can't wait to share them with you, but I'm going to have to put all my thoughts together first. Another reason I'm excited to get home, see my girls, and get that footage all compiled together. All right, here in Waterloo at 3:06 with 30%, 37 degrees. Last trip since Jim's, 55 miles. Oh yeah, we did a little level 2 charging in his house. 57 minutes, 363 watt hours per mile. Total trip so far, 2,508 miles, 359 watt hours per mile. Let's plug. All right, we should ramp up pretty fast here. Right now it's saying 35 minutes to continue our trip. I'm gonna run in and use the restroom and then maybe try to get a few winks before making the next stretch is gonna be the longest for me solo. So I wanna be well rested and coherent as it gets dark today. All right, got a little nap in. 3:45, 93%. We're gonna get to Owatonna, 10%. Can always slow down if I need to, but let's roll. Come on. 93, 3:46. Okay, folks, we are just leaving Waterloo. Got about a 10-minute nap, just enough to make me feel weird. But it was good to close my eyes for a few minutes. Just excited. Owatonna is our last stop. Saying we'll get there now with 11%. And that is not far from my home. So it's going to be getting dark here in the next hour. And we got this kind of weird drive through Waterloo that's kind of through residential areas. But I'm just excited to put the hammer down and make tracks. Hopefully get home early and surprise the girls. But obviously want to do that safely with no regrets. Let's do it. 6:06, we're here with 5% in Owatonna, 35 Fahrenheit. Let's plug in. This should be a 10-minute stop, then I can get home. This last stretch was 162 miles, 2 hours and 19 minutes, 349 watt-hours per mile. We're at 2,669 miles and 359 watt-hours per mile. Time to use the restroom. 8 minutes to continue the trip. Let's get going. %, only getting 142 kilowatts. But I can see with the low state of charge, it maybe didn't want to preheat. Gonna get to Burnsville with 2% now. And hopefully home about 7 p.m., which is better than I imagined. So huge thank you to Jim for optimizing our whole trip up here. He really was meticulous about that and really found us a great path and charging strategy. Really appreciate that. We're starting to get that calculating screen, which means it's about to click over and say we're good to go. It's estimating 6% arrival. Obviously, I can slow down if I need to, but I can also get home with 1% or 0 and just plug the car in there. So now saying 7%. Come on, any second. There we go. 6:15, 38%, 37 Fahrenheit. Unplug. Let's roll, roll, roll. Home at 6:58 p.m., 15%, 36 Fahrenheit. Last stretch was 50 miles, 314 watt-hours per mile. And our overall trip was 2,720 miles. Used 973 kilowatt-hours with an average energy of 358. Time to hug some girls, unload, and recap in the studio. We'll see you there. We'll start off here with the drive north, which we just completed. 1,227 miles in 25 hours and 52 minutes, with an average consumption of 358 watt-hours per mile. It took us 13 charges again, and our average speed going north was 47 miles per hour, and that includes the time we were stopped for charging. Let's compare that now to the drive south, which you'll see in the lighter red color. That was 1,301 miles, so about 75 miles more. But we did it in about 25 minutes less time, so that trip was only 25.5 hours. You can see our consumption was a little higher, but we also had higher speeds with 51 mile per hour average. When we look at the whole trip together, we can see 2,720 miles in 52 hours. Added a little bit of time in there just because of driving around Austin, but not really part of the road trips. And our average watt-hour per mile was 358, 27 charges, 13 on each road trip, plus the charge on Friday in Del Valley while we were going out to do the Light Horse event. Over those 27 charges, our average time at each one was only 23 minutes, so pretty good there. And only a slight variation on the 2 road trips, with a stop time of about 22 minutes on the way down and 24 minutes on the way up, so pretty close both ways. Longtime viewers will know another metric I like to keep an eye on is how far did we go in 8 hours. And so for these 2 trips, north and south, I took a look at the first 8 hours and the first 12 hours. On the drive south, we did 390 miles and almost did that well on the drive north with 388 miles. So pretty tidy there. A bigger spread on the 12-hour stats with 635 miles going south and 598 miles coming north, and this is mainly due to where the charging stops lie. We had that long Denison, Texas stop and then the slower back roads coming north, and obviously we hadn't hit that yet in our southern trip. Regardless, 2,720 miles is a lot of driving in 4 days, especially when you take into account the fact that we did the Cybertruck delivery event, the after party, and our fun on Friday. The Model Y is such an easy road tripper, and the Supercharger was flawless, other than that one stop where the nav asked us to plug back in for 5 minutes. And even that, the charging speed was all normal. It was just a little glitch with the estimator. I apologize that I'm not sharing charging cost info. I've got referral points, so free supercharging right now, and that's good for me, but they don't show you what you would have spent if you had to pay for it. So no data on that, sorry. But if there's any other data I left out, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to respond. Speaking of those referrals, thank you very much to Brandon Flash. Without that, it would have been really hard to make this trip work. Thanks to Zach and Jesse from the Now You Know channel for trusting me to help cover the event, the after party, and the Light Horse fun on Friday. Thanks to EV Dave for the Ubers to and from the factory. Finally, a huge thanks once again to Jim, the Iowa Tesla guy, for being an excellent road trip partner, a great second driver, getting me into the factory, sharing his footage, and making these drives much more enjoyable for me and for you. I guarantee watching me do these drives alone would have been far longer and much less entertaining, unless you like watching pain. So thank you to Jim, and thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this series, please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. 2024 is shaping up to be a year filled with content and, of course, more Cybertrucks. So again, thanks for watching, have a great day, and happy road tripping.